So this order by the president is a long time coming. What it does is it reschedules cannabis, popularly known as marijuana, as a Schedule III drug instead of a Schedule I drug. The problem with Schedule I is that when it was originally defined back in the early 70s, it was for drugs that have no medical value and have abuse potential. I am Kent Vrana, the Elliot S. Vesell Professor of Pharmacology in the Department of Molecular and Precision Medicine, and I'm the founding director of the Penn State Center for Cannabis and Natural Product Pharmaceutics. I think we can agree that marijuana has abuse potential, but it also has medical benefits. We have 4 different drugs that are derived from cannabinoids in this plant. And so this recognizes the medical benefit of cannabis, the potential medical benefit, and therefore it removes it from a class of drugs that includes heroin and PCP and LSD and moves it into a class with other medically beneficial drugs like testosterone and ketamine and codeine. So this executive decision will enable more and better research for the following reason. It turns out that in order to do research on a Schedule I drug, you need a very special license. It's just called a Schedule I license. And it took us, my team, more than 9 months to get that permission. And so it's an impediment to doing research. On top of that, Schedule I drugs are harmful by their very nature, heroin, LSD. And so there's a reluctance to study in humans drugs that are on the Schedule I. Therefore, this, by becoming a Schedule III drugs, normalizes the use of these drugs in research for medical benefits. Perhaps 30 years ago, the first cannabinoid, the first drug that comes from cannabis, was approved for treating appetite stimulation in patients who have HIV/AIDS and cancer chemotherapy. Obviously, they lose weight as part of their treatments. And it's true, cannabis gives you the munchies. And so that purified THC, tetrahydrocannabinol from cannabis, was approved for use to stimulate the appetite. Since then, we have FDA-approved drugs, more FDA-approved drugs, to treat nausea and vomiting associated with cancer chemotherapy, with another version for the same purpose, a slightly different structure, but derived from the cannabinoid structure. And then finally, in 2018, CBD, cannabidiol, another cannabinoid from cannabis, was approved to treat these intractable seizures in pediatric patients with unique problems called Dravet syndrome and Lennox-Gastaut syndrome. They might have 100 seizures a day, but on high doses of CBD, those seizures in a small percentage disappear, and in a larger percentage are reduced dramatically. I am very hopeful that just as we have literally hundreds of drugs that are derived from nature that we use in cancer chemotherapy, that we use as antibiotics, we're going to find the same things in cannabis. I can't predict where it will be, but we're confident that it's going to play a role in pain, for instance, and in inflammatory diseases like rheumatoid arthritis and inflammatory bowel disease. I think the largest misconception about this order is that it legalizes recreational cannabis, and it does not do that. As a Schedule III drug, it still remains a prescription drug. So a doctor will have to provide a prescription or make a recommendation that it be used. It is not decriminalizing recreational use of marijuana. It may normalize the use in the public, recognizing that it's no longer a Schedule I drug like LSD or heroin. But on the other hand, it is not making it legal for recreational use. And that's a conversation that up to now the individual states have been having, but that will need to be front and center or front of mind in the conversations to come.